What is good, YouTube? Quimway basketball analysis coming to y'all with another rumor that I'm going to give my 2 cents on, and it's about Ben Simmons, who will definitely be gone before the season start for the Philadelphia 76ers. And now they saying that they plan on having him to camp unless Damian Lillard is available, which is smart because if you can go from Ben Simmons to Damian Lillard, Damian Lillard is one of the best players in the world, and so is Ben Simmons. But he gives you more than what Ben Simmons does. Damian Lillard is a closer. He is clutch. He can take over and carry loads. And he has shown that he can carry teams to the playoffs in the Western Conference, and he will be in the East. Obviously, we got traded to Philly, and he will be able to do that, I believe, too, because they have a lot of talent in Philly and a lot of good fits for him that's similar to Portland to me. If he would, have to carry the team because Embiid, for example, missing some games, and they need some ways to win. Dame has proven that throughout his career that he can get that job done, and he's lethal. I mean, Dame is a guy that can get you 30. He can get you a lot of assists. He can really carry and control the game at this point of his career, and he should. He's older, he's smart, and he has been one of the best players in the NBA for a long time. And I don't think that will be changing at all. And the best part about Dame is that he's healthy, he's durable. He has small little nagging injuries in the season. That's really about it. No big health concerns ever, and no big injuries to his body basically ever in his NBA career. And that is a guy that you do want to bring in if you can. But that's a huge upgrade going from Ben Simmons to Dame. That's a significant upgrade. And I will wonder what will be next after that because if you can get a guy like Dame to play with Embiid, that's picture perfect. People thought CJ for Ben was a good deal because it gives them basically what they will need at perimeter wise scoring. But Dame is just better than CJ and more proven than CJ has been and more durable. So you will have to give up more because the only reason I bring that up is that Daryl Morey has been wanting a lot for Ben Simmons, and he will be having to be the one giving up more because Dame is better than Ben Simmons. And if I'm Portland, that's my superstar. That's my franchise guy for almost 10 years and he has been that for them since he's really been in Portland from day one. And he has really had a great career so far, but he has yet to get to the finals and he has yet to get a championship. And it makes sense. Joel Embiid has been committed, so he doesn't have to worry about that. And Dame signed his extension not that long ago, so he will be under contract for a couple years too. And on top of that, when you look at the fact that Ben Simmons is scared of free throws, he's scared to make shots. He's scared to take shots. You don't have to worry about none of that with video game Dame. He's going to take a lot of shots. He's going to get them up, but he's going to make them whether they're easy, hard, tough, or even deep. Dame is a bucket. That's something that we'll all agree in. I think even with Doc Rivers and the way this team played last year, he will be a perfect fit. He will be the fit that they will need to get them over the hump and be a real contender. Because they showed signs that they can be it last year, but their duo faltered and crumbled in big moments. And that was one of the reasons why they couldn't get over the hump every single year. Either Embiid crumble, Simmons crumble, or they both crumble, and one was a heartbreak. So they're trying to get over the hump. They're trying to make themselves a championship team and a team that can win a title. That was one of the biggest questions about Joel Embiid's extension besides his health. Can he bring Philly a title? He has already proven that he's one of the best players in the league, but he also hasn't even been to the conference finals in the Eastern Conference. And they was the number one seed in the Eastern Conference too this year, and everybody had them beating Atlanta Hawks, and then they ended up flopping and getting beat by the Hawks, and that was just another bad look for Embiid. But not only that, that's the reason why Simmons is on the hot seat. But I feel like Simmons been on the hot seat for a while. Even last year, people was like, Ben Simmons is this, Ben Simmons is that. It seemed like every time the Sixers get into a false start, every time they have some problems, every time they flame out in the playoffs, Ben Simmons is the scapegoat. Ben Simmons doesn't want to score. He hasn't improved offensively. He hasn't really changed his game. He has to shoot threes. Is always something that Ben Simmons has to do. And Ben Simmons has always been the guy that has been the scapegoat. When everything fails and everything goes wrong or they don't live up to their expectations, Ben Simmons is the first guy that gets thrown under the bus. But adding Dame will put more pressure on Joel Embiid because now you have the guy that you need on the perimeter. He's not the defender, nowhere near the defender, and as versatile as Ben Simmons, but he gives you everything offensively that you need to make your job easier. Plus, he gives you the holes that you needed to be filled in that area, especially when it comes to playoffs, because Dame has been a decent playoff performer throughout his career too, and that's something that's documented. So I think if this trade would happen, or they did start talking about it, or they did get something done, it will be Daryl Morey, the one giving up more to get Dame. But on top of that, it will put more pressure on Embiid to deliver a title to Philly. We already showed our loyalty to you. We already showed our commitment to you. Now we gave you another piece that puts us over the top, depending on what all they got to give up. But the deal won't be done unless it's good for Portland. You giving up a top 10, top 12 player in the entire NBA, and you're going to want something big for that. Because if they give up Dame, they probably might not even make the playoffs or be fighting to just get into the playoffs if they lose a guy like Dame, even if they add Ben Simmons. That's how tough it is in the West next year, honestly. But at the same time, that's what Philly would need. I'm going to be honest. I didn't really go crazy over the CJ McCollum, Ben Simmons trade. But if they get the Dame for Ben Simmons trade and something else, I would like that a whole lot better for Philly. And I would look at them as a more dangerous team, especially if Embiid can stay healthy and even be healthy just for a playoff run, which has been a concern of mine too, like I said before, because Embiid has missed significant times in multiple playoff runs, and they haven't even got to the conference finals in none of them. So just imagine him having to play two more rounds to win the title. Can Embiid stay healthy? Can he stay dominant? Will he make excuses? There's just so many questions with Embiid that he has continuing to have throughout his career, that if you get Dame, people are going to look at you as the team that's up there with Brooklyn and Milwaukee in the East. Because everybody look at it as Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and that's it. You get Damian Lillard with Joel Embiid, you got to start putting them in that conversation, especially if they still have that third guy. Tobias Harris has been a little shaky in the playoffs, especially when he doesn't have particular matchups. But with Dame is there, you don't have to really worry about Tobias Harris being a guy that needs to score a lot, because you have Embiid and Dame doing the bulk of that, and they can play off of each other and they can give spacing towards each other. And Tobias Harris would just have to be that guy that make all the small, simple plays and just cash in on that. Plus, Philly also has a little bit of depth. They ain't as deep as they were to me last year, but they still aren't that bad off. And they can always fix that with the buyout market. So to me, this will be that Daryl Morey move where he's taking Philly from another team in the East that's in the conversation to a team that can really be a real threat for a title. And we already know Daryl Morey doesn't stop there. He's going to keep making moves, and he's going to keep trying to swing for the fences even after they get Dame, if it will happen, even if it's in the regular season, even if it's during the buyout time, and even if it's at the last minute of the trade deadline. Daryl Morey won't stop working into this roster as to what he likes and wants it to be. Plus, Doc Rivers has flopped in some series, has won some series, and has won a title, and he has held guys accountable, and he has let guys be themselves. And that was a reason why they were so good last year, but it was also a reason why they, flopped in the playoffs. And, adding Dame would just add added pressure to Doc Rivers, to Joel Embiid and his organization, because they're going to be expected to win if you make that move. I mean, you got two top 10 players basically on the same team, and they fit perfectly with each other. Expectations are going to be high, even though I would still have Brooklyn and Milwaukee over them. That's Daryl Morey's job to finish this roster off and get them into that conversation, if not above them. I don't know if that's possible, but as a GM, you got to put the best roster, make the best roster you can by the end of that season to increase and have the best chances of winning the title, and let the odds in the games play out the way they shall. But this will be a deal that I'll give the okay to. If you get CJ for Ben, I don't think that's a significant move for Philly. If you get Dame for Ben, then you're talking about a very, very dangerous team for multiple years. But the CJ one don't move the needle. I don't look at if you trade for CJ. I don't think that make you on Brooklyn and Milwaukee level. But if you trade for Dame, then you're in that conversation with another move. You should definitely be in that conversation to be able to play with them. You never know what's going to happen during series and the games, but you just want to have the best opportunity that you can going into the series and be confident with that and live with the results at the end of the day. But I like this, makes more sense. This is better. This is smarter. And if I'm Portland, it depends on what else I'm getting with Ben Simmons. You might want to seal this deal because he also is under contract for years and he's been loyal so far. It's just everybody's turning against him every single year, and this year is just to the point where everybody's going in on Ben and he knows it. And it's just time for him to move on from Philly, and it's time for him to get a fresh start somewhere else and start all over. And it happens. Everybody goes through it. It's part of life. It's part of growing up. It's part of being a man. It's part of being, an adult. And Ben Simmons is just going through it right now. So we'll see how it happens. We'll see what happens. But if this would happen and it gets some traction, I like Philly a lot better going into the season if they have Dame than having Ben Simmons or CJ. And I think we all agree on that for the most part. Other than that, see y'all tomorrow. Quinn Wade, that's one officer signing out. And enjoy y'all Wednesday.